What's up, dudes? Today we're gonna make a crafty type thing called a noodle board.
Now, what's a noodle board? It's a kitchen decorative kind of do-nothing thing that the idea is it gives you some more counter space on top of your stove. And with that extra space, you can make noodles.
And we're gonna make it out of pallets. So what I have here is a disassembled pallet. Now, if you have a pallet that looks different, you might be able to modify it a little bit, but looking for these type of boards that are kind of 1 inch by 3 inch, and then these are which are kind of like fake looking 2x4s. First step is disassemble your pallet and get all the nails out.
You're also going to need to measure your stove because they're all kind of different.
Looks like these guys are 28 inches long each. We're shooting for 29 and a half, but that's close enough. Came up to 20, almost 22. Yeah, that was one that ripped in half. So we'll cut it in half all the way down. Then the total distance comes exactly to 22. So you have like a little back to it. We just got to cut very straight along there. And then you take your two, these aren't 2x4s, but they're something by 4s. And then you're going to put your handles here. So we'll be able to screw from the back into this board here, into this board, and you won't see any screws, but we'll just make sure we countersink the screws in the back so the screw heads don't scratch up your stove. All right, so now all that's left is to sand all of your selected boards down. Well, you can go ahead and cut these, and then we'll sand them down.
Now we're just doing a basic sand here, starting with probably 80 grit to get all that crap down and get them soft, going down to 200 grit at the end. Now you can get fancier with this and do like a router to do an edge on here. We're kind of trying to do that with rounding over the edges with the sander. It makes it look a little bit more DIY, you know, homemade. Do whatever you want.
All right, sand everything down. Looks a lot better. Decided which of the tops we like the best, and we're just gonna hit them with the more finer sandpaper. Got these rustic looking handles. We're gonna have to countersink a little bit so they'll sit right here. Stick some glue, stuck it on here. Make sure all the corners and stuff line up. And put it down. Now, these guys aren't gonna wanna match up, so gotta put something underneath there to clamp it. Gotta clamp a piece of wood underneath it, clamped it, so then that glue can dry. And then make sure you put a level on there, a piece of tape or something, so you don't drill all the way through. 2 screws for these, but I'm trying to stay away from these existing nail holes. Put that away. Then, I don't know, this is optional. I have a countersink bit. It's gonna allow that screw to sit in the hole a little bit. See? It did finally sink further in.
Just using a wood stain on the top. This is white ash color.
You don't have to cover it every single thing because it actually soaks in. We're gonna wipe it off, but we don't want it puddled up there either. You want to typically go with the grain of the wood. See how it's going this way or this way?
For the next part of putting the graphic on the noodle board, I don't have any actual footage of me doing that specific graphic, but I'll show you a video of the method that I used on another project. It's pretty easy.
So we're going to trace our graphic on there using something that's in your Christmas supplies.
Get this stuff. A white tissue paper, and you can just use that.
Remember, this is a different project, so the text is a little different. I wouldn't put this text on a noodle board for our Nana. If so, I'd never get a cookie again. So you get your graphic in real dimensions that you want to see, put it up on your screen, and tape the tissue paper on top of it.
Gel rollers probably work the best.
Now, using a pen or a pencil or whatever you got, you're just going to trace it out and make sure you don't damage your screen by pushing down too hard. What you're doing is getting a basic outline, and that's all you need. Once you got that done, you're going to put it on whatever project you want to trace to. And here I had to cut it into a bunch of pieces. And you're going to take a regular Sharpie and trace those lines you got from your computer transfer. And that allows the Sharpie to penetrate this tissue paper and give you a transferred graphic. Then you just paint, wood burn, I don't care, crayon your graphic on over that transfer and you're all good.
All right, we got our graphic on there. Nana's Kitchen and some random dots. Using that tissue paper transfer method. It's polyacrylic. Make sure you use this, not polyurethane, because polyurethane gets yellowy.
Putting on this polyacrylic over the graphic to kind of lock it in. Make sure your graphic's dry first, but this is going to preserve it and allow it to not get hopefully scratched up as you're putting stuff on it. Hopefully not fade over time.
So here's our big problem with the handles, which is all that's left. Our screw for the handles only is this long, and it needs to go through this much material. Oh no. But it also needs to go into the actual handle by about that much to get tight. So what we're gonna have to do is drill a hole in the right spot all the way through, big enough for the smaller size of the front of it here, of the screw. And then we'll have to countersink a hole so the head of the screw will be able to go all the way up to about here and stop. Smaller hole all the way through, and then a larger hole the size or the diameter, slightly larger than the diameter of the screw head.
Learn from my mistake. Could have just done it with a longer screw, but this method did work if you're in a pinch. And there we go. We got our noodle board all done. It doesn't cover our stove exactly right, but it covers our Nana stove much better. And she really liked it. So if you're looking to do this project, it's pretty easy, it's pretty cheap, and it was kind of fun to do. If I was going to do it again, I would plan a little bit more with the handles and the longer screws, but we made it work. So how do you think it looks? Let me know in the comments, and let me know if you're going to try it yourself. Until next time, this is Josh saying, get out there and go do some stuff.